This video is in response to someone who offered up the challenge to show the top 5 things you've made or chipped out, and after much thinking about it and a lot of searching through my keepers, I came up with these 5 things right here as far as chipped items go. I got a lot of other things I could include as far as my flutes and knives and so on, but to start it off, I'd like to show this one here. This is the Harden Point. I believe it's the best point that I ever made. For the reason the flaking is just phenomenal on this thing, and it's nice and thin. Truly looks the way a Harden should look. And the story behind it is a fellow I had corresponded with from Missouri had a brother who found one exactly like this, and I do mean exactly. And he had kept it in a cardboard box, a little shoe box in his closet. And one day his sister was looking through the closet trying to find something, and she knocked the box down, and out came the point, and it broke on the floor. Well, he was really devastated by the loss of the point that he loved so much, and he tried to restore it, and it just wasn't right, and he was wondering if I could chip one out. Well, I did chip one out, and I sent it to him, and I also chipped this one out, and it's an exact copy of the one that he had found. And I do believe this probably could be the finest one I've ever made, and it's a centerpiece of my keeper collection. This one here is probably my best, in my mind, my best Snyder's, and I love it. It's just thin as can be, but I just love the shape of this one. Everything looks so good on it, and this has always been in my keeper box for a while. I made this one in 2003, so that's 9 years ago, and I'll never part with this one. I just love this Snyder's Point, and I use it as an example to follow every time I make one. Sometimes I will look at this and try to get the lines and the base just right, as I did on this one. This one here will actually stand up. It's got a pedestal, and I really like making these Mayan Eccentrics. And this one here comes out of this moose base here, if I can pull it out. What I liked about it was there was a natural fossil right here where the eye should be. You can see the lips and the nose and the headdress, and there's another Mayan face here. These are really difficult to make. It's mostly pressure flaking, and I've always loved this one. It stands on my counter where I keep all my favorite things, and this one I would say ranks up there real high as far as my favorites. I'm not putting these in order of the most favorite. I'm going to say these are my top 5 favorites. So in he goes there. Next is a beautiful piece of Norman Skill chert from the Hudson Valley of New York State. Now, a friend of mine had found some of this material. This is really hard to get a chunk like this, and I made this super nice, what we call an Otter Creek here in New York State. I know you have other names for them around the country, but this thing, it was the best work I've ever done in Norman Skill chert. And I know there's some on here that watch my channel that will recognize this material. It's absolutely beautiful. It's green, and there's some black stripes in it, but to flake one of these out like this and to get it this thin is quite a task. And I love this point. It's in a keeper case, and it's pretty big. I mean, if you hold it in your hand, it's all of 6 inches, and I've never made too many like it. Last but not least is this point right here, and this is the largest Genesee point I have ever made out of Onondaga chert, and this is a big piece. I made this here about a year ago, and it went right immediately into my keeper case. And again, you can see this is a pretty big piece, probably all of 5.5 to 6 inches too. Well, the Genesee is a little heavier point, so you'll notice this one is a little bit thicker. And by the true standards, this one's way too thin by the ones you find in comparison. So I guess for now, this is going to be my top 5. I hope you enjoyed seeing them. I enjoy having them in my keeper collection, and I'm enjoying all the wonderful finds everybody's finding out there. as their top 5 finds. These are my top 5 things I've made as far as flint knapping.